Hello, everyone. This is Will.
This is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Oh, God. Mostly.
What a great movie.
Yeah.
Oof. You know, I'm gonna be
Much happened.
I'm gonna be thinking about this one for so long.
I'm going to be too, but...
Thought-provoking, really. Beautifully edited. Just incredible, impeccable acting.
Oh, you know what else, Will? It's terrifying.
It shook me to the core.
I mean, look. The first word there says horror.
Yes.
Horror.
It didn't just feel like a crappy nature documentary.
I feel like Marlon Brando at the end of Apocalypse Now. The horror.
The horror.
That's me.
Seriously. It didn't feel like, I was talking about this before we started the podcast. It definitely didn't feel like one of those like crappy like nature preserves or nature like museums you go into and they're playing like the shitty like nature documentary about preserving the forest and
but
helping the wildlife.
At least those shitty nature documentaries probably aren't 92 minutes long.
They're usually like at most 30 minutes long.
At most, yes.
At most.
Imagine.
I wish.
You wish.
This felt about an hour and a half too long, which is funny because it's an hour and a half long.
Shocking. Before we get into the shitfest, before we get our rambler, though.
Yes, sorry.
Don't forget, we are on every single platform for podcasts imaginable, so please give us a follow,
yes.
A like,
go, really, like...
whatever.
The thing we're trying to boost right now is YouTube.
Yeah.
So really just go there, subscribe, leave a comment if you want to. We try and get to those as much as possible.
If you got a recommendation or something.
That seems to be our biggest growth at the moment. So if you feel like you like us, go there, subscribe. It really helps out.
We appreciate it.
It's such a small thing to do, but it really does like kind of boost our morale, and it really like makes it all worth it, right? Because we're trying to we want to entertain people, obviously.
Yeah.
Or else we wouldn't have a podcast. So
especially not watching movies.
It really helps out, and we're just a humble, small podcast trying to make it. And so yeah, like anything you can do is great.
We appreciate it. The film
is now for fans of the incredible movie that no one's seen, Boggy Creek.
So I apparently have seen Boggy Creek, and I apparently didn't like it because I looked it up and I was like, have I ever fucking seen this? I apparently didn't like it. I know that one is more of a mock, like a fake documentary.
Like a mockumentary
but,
kind of thing?
Regardless of my non-memories of that, this
is Boggy Creek 2. Okay, so here's the actual title.
The full title.
Boggy Creek 2 and The Legend Continues.
That's... apparently this is actually the third film, because apparently there was a second film made sometime before this, but I guess this is the official second Boggy Creek film. I knew going into this that this is not highly looked at.
Listen.
Oh, really? Tell me. Well,
we have watched a few Bigfoot movies on the podcast.
Have we?
Bigfoot.
Am I losing my mind?
Remember? One of the very first ones we watched was Bigfoot.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you remember that?
Ew. Oh, fuck.
Oh, I'm giving you PTSD on that shit.
That was like our third or second episode.
Yeah, it was like the very beginning. We watched Bigfoot. Now, I will admit, although this movie is better made than that movie,
yes,
I would argue that other Bigfoot movie has more entertainment value.
I think there might have been more things.
More stuff happens in the older one, obviously, because people die and shit happens, and it has that ridiculous ending where they blow up the mine and then make a fucking King Kong reference. So at least some stuff, something of substance happens in the. Now, is it a good movie? Hell no, it's fucking awful.
It was horrible.
It's absolute shit.
I just remember.
But at least something happened.
30 minutes into that old one, I was like, "Will, we need to turn this off."
Oh, it's complete garbage. I thought about that's back when we actually thought about turning off movies that were bad.
Now
we just live in the shit.
Well, it's like back then we were like the new recruits, you know. Mm-hmm. We're just barely out of boot camp.
We had to do it.
It was our first battle.
Yeah.
And we were like, I can't do this. I can't fucking do this. But now it's like we've been through all these battles and all these wars, and we're just like seasoned old veterans that have no fucking emotion. And
I think it really like hardened our mettle when we did the filmography of Uwe Boll. I think now we can get through anything.
We can do anything.
We can get through anything. So, we have eyes of steel when it comes to movies.
This shit pile of a fucking movie where nothing. I don't know. Sometimes you just watch a movie and there is so little in it that like you just have nothing to say. That's almost how I feel about this.
That's how I feel. It's like it's a nothing movie. Like nothing happens. Like. And I'm not shitting you. Like, we'll go over it, but, like, literally nothing happens. And okay, so, obviously it's a movie, so, like, you gotta, stuff happens because it's a movie. It's like, yeah, but nothing important and nothing exciting and nothing horrific happens at all. No. In a horror movie about a Bigfoot, a creature lurking in the fucking darkness. Nothing of substance happens. It is such a non-movie. It's like a nature documentary that they slapped together, and like even the message at the end of the movie is like like a bad nature documentary.
Dude, the message at the end is so pointless.
It's so like stupid.
It's like you can't make me sit through 92 minutes of bullshit.
They have this like moral bullshit like thing about like,
nature, and it's like, bro,
he's one with nature, so you should like respect nature.
It's like, bro cakes, Tato, you made me sit through a 92-minute long shit fest where nothing happens, and half of it is day for night. Like, you can't do this to me.
At the end, I mean,
you can't do this.
A few times they attempt to have something like thrilling happen.
Thrilling.
But it doesn't work.
Thrilling.
Like, no shit. I'm sorry. We're jumping all over the place. I don't even care.
We're not doing this chronologically. I'm not doing this. Like, I refuse. The
one exciting scene that they try to do is where they fucking encounter a rabid dog.
I was hoping you mentioned this.
You know, they're just walking through the woods because I guess they're... So basically, okay, I'll say the premise of the movie. Basically what happens is there's like a Bigfoot sighting in a small town in Arkansas.
There's been a lot of them.
Yeah.
And they just had another one.
And so they recruit this like doctor from the University of Arkansas to go investigate the area and see if he could find. He's interested, and he wants to find like this new life form, like this new like species. And he wants to study. Yeah. He wants to study Bigfoot.
He wants to see evidence of it or whatever.
So they spend the whole movie exploring. Like they go like backwoods Arkansas. They set up camp.
He gets 3 students to go along with him.
They set up camp and they go to like various places where the sightings happen, and that's pretty much the whole movie. So
they go to various places and then they camp in the woods, and yes, that's the movie.
And stuff happens.
That's the movie.
We'll go over the. I'm using air quotes here. Exciting.
Oh, I was gonna use air quotes and say the finer details.
Yeah.
Anything.
We'll break down the exciting, horror scenes.
Oh yes, the plot points.
Yeah.
I feel like any description of this movie requires like a billion fucking air quotes.
I want to preface this by saying that this horror movie about Bigfoot, this creature feature, now horror movie, has 0 deaths
on screen.
And literally, I think the only person that actually gets hurt is a sheriff that tells a story about how he got 9 stitches in his back.
From baby Bigfoot.
Because baby Bigfoot jumped on him, and he flung him off, and then they stole fish, and Bigfoot and baby Bigfoot went off into the woods.
Yes.
That is literally the only person in this entire movie that even gets remotely hurt by Bigfoot at all.
Because I mean, there is the one person who they get like a flat tire or something, and it's very strange because they seem to live in some parallel universe where it's like supposed to be nighttime, but it's actually daytime.
Well, I mean, we have the very famous the return of the day for night.
We have the most blatant day for night I've seen in like at least like 50 episodes.
It's unapologetic.
It's hilarious.
Just they didn't give a fuck. They just put
they didn't even try.
They barely put a filter on it and just like let it go.
They didn't even fucking try. And he gets a flat tire and like Bigfoot sneaks up on him, and the sight of Bigfoot is so horrifying that it puts him into a coma, and he's in that coma for so long that he dies. Yes. That is the only death in this film associated with our monster.
Now, that being said, plot out of the way, let me get to this dog scene. So,
the riveting
so they're investigating empty houses along this river because
Bigfoot
town has like abandoned these places because Bigfoot sightings are there. For something. But I don't actually know. I was barely fucking paying attention. I'll be honest. So anyway,
how dare you?
They go to this like abandoned house
Jesus.
To look around for evidence of Bigfoot.
Right.
I think.
No.
Again, like I said,
that is.
I have zero fucks given into this movie, so it's like it could be fucking anything at this point.
No, but that's literally all it is.
Yeah. So they go in and like there's two people outside and they're like circling the house, and this rabid dog attacks them, and so they all run into the house, and this dog just like kind of lazily goes around the house and like.
Have you seen Cujo, Will?
Yes.
This is not. What's funny is that came out the same year as this, and
Well, okay, so here's the thing about Cujo though. They made that dog look menacing, right?
Yes.
Like, that dog was scary to look at.
It is a character.
Like, that dog,
on its own.
You could tell something was wrong with the dog.
Well, it's that thing of, like, they actually have... You see, in Cujo, they actually have the dog, like, on screen, looking menacing and terrifying and barking.
Yeah.
In this movie... oh, honey.
Listen, this dog...
I love the toothpaste.
Well, this dog is like one of the most. He's actually pretty cute.
It's like a German Shepherd.
It's like
that
one
they
of the
slathered toothpaste on its mouth.
Well, because they keep smacking its lips.
No, because they wanted it to look like it has rabies, so it's like foaming at the mouth. But all they had was like toothpaste or like fucking sugar water or something.
I don't know.
And they like rub its lips on it. And it's just like this white foam, and it keeps like licking it. Like, yes, this is good. And like,
well, I love it too because it finally gets into the house, right? And it's attacking this one
guy. Okay.
It's attacking this one guy because he's been shooting like the floors because it went under the house. He shot at the door because it was at the door. He shot at the window and like
don't forget the riveting scene where it knocks out the like boards at the door.
Yeah.
And it's like knocking it out, and you can tell it's just the dog being like, "Hey. Let me in. I want to play. I want to play."
It's like this excited German Shepherd just like trying to get in for pets.
Fucking toothpaste on its lips.
Pets and treats. He's like, "Where are my treats? I've done this scene. Let me get in." So this guy is like backed in this corner with this empty handgun, and he's like, "It's supposed to be this like intense scene." He's like, "Don't stay," and like it's like this dog excitedly barking, but instead of the audio of the dog barking, they just put this low growl in the. But the dog, what's hilarious is they have this low growl the whole scene, but the dog is clearly excitedly barking.
Yeah.
Because someone is telling it to bark.
Yeah.
And it's like panting because it's like fucking hot as shit in Arkansas. So
yeah.
Like. It's barking, but it has this like low growl.
They
and
just
like
overdub, yeah.
It's like it's kind of hopping too, like
and it
dogs
just keeps
do.
Like they just keep repeating the growl.
Now,
Jesus.
also what I love is like So the kid like gives him a rifle and he shoots the dog. It's I love it. So the dog is just lying down. You could tell
it's just chilling.
It's just chilling, and with its like tongue out, just panting because it's hot, and like it's just panting, and they just like poured like this food coloring around it, and it's just panting, and he's like, oh my god, we shot it. He's like, and one of the kids like it shows the dog like panting like hard, and it has this like fake little bullet hole in it, and he's like we didn't kill it, but it's dying. And like it shows it again, it's just like
we gotta leave.
It's just like
I can't. I can't. That was, if you really think about it, Will. If you really put your noggin to it, you get your noggin jogging enough. That was the most horrifying scene in the movie.
Now you might be thinking to yourself, why do we keep saying this is like a bad nature documentary? Well, I'll tell you.
How much narration is there?
It's like
a lot.
It's like 70% of the movie.
There's so many scenes of characters driving or going on a boat.
Yeah.
And they overlay narration explaining like the wildlife and like mundane details that we don't need, or like character backstory that you could have done in any other kind of scene.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's just context. It's literally just like these exposition dumps.
Yeah.
But like it's just telling you what's happening in the movie without showing it. And it's like, okay, but you're a fucking movie, maybe show what's going on.
Nope.
Make something exciting instead of just putting a fucking overhead shot of them driving in the fucking Arkansas wilderness and a fucking voiceover.
Driving. That's it. It's fine.
It's fucking stupid.
That's all we get.
It's so boring to watch. If I wanted to watch a fucking documentary about Arkansas, I just go to fucking Nat Geo and fucking watch something like that.
Anything.
Like maybe watch a documentary on the Ozarks or something. You know, fucking whatever. Just not this shit. This is not it. Another thrilling scene. I guess there is like one death in the movie because remember at the beginning, the Squatch kills the fucking deer and the.
I'm not counting that. I don't count that.
It just kills a deer and like rips its head off for no reason.
Yeah, it leaves the head in the water.
I don't understand.
And then it leaves the carcass on the road.
Because it's remember? It's like one of the most like non-threatening Bigfoots you'll ever see in a fucking movie.
Oh, I'm not even gonna humor talking about the Bigfoot costume because it's so pointless. But I do love though that the Bigfoot kills a deer in the beginning and apparently like takes the body and then just puts the body on the side of the road because later on.
This is like one of the most hilarious scenes in the whole fucking movie.
Because there's a part where it's like a POV shot of them driving, and there's like the deer carcass on the road, and the car just starts like driving like 20 miles an hour, and it's just fucking like
it makes this like loud brake sound, and they're like swerving, they're like about to hit it, but like it's funny because you see
it's like 20 miles an hour they're driving, and the deer is like 100 feet away.
Yeah, it's like fucking like hundreds of feet away. You see it like in the like foreground,
in the distance, and they're just like, oh no!
Like and they have to pull over, and they don't know what took a bite out of it, so they just pull it off the road, and that scene ends.
And we have, I swear to God, so many of the Bigfoot scenes are just fucking flashbacks, and they just.
Yeah, that's
slather.
The other thing. That's the other thing they do. Most of I would say, probably like 80% of the the Sasquatch sightings are all flashbacks.
And they slather the screen in fucking Vaseline, and it's just horrible and ugly to look at. And that's most of your Bigfoot action.
One of the Bigfoot scenes he's in the scene, but he appears as Bubbles in the fucking river. Like, remember when the kid's jet skiing? And
to be fair, that is one of the few non-flashback Bigfoot attacks. But yes,
because it's just Bubbles. Like, you don't actually see Sasquatch at all in that.
No, we just have our actor kind of like jump off of his jet ski and pretend that he's drowning, and then he gets back on the jet ski and swims away.
And then you just see Bubbles. You don't actually see the Bigfoot.
End scene.
End scene. That's it. So
we got another scene where an old man in a barn, he takes his cows in the barn, he locks the barn, he walks away, he walks outside, the barn door is open, he looks in the barn, our Bigfoot's there just like, it's like he walked in on him masturbating, and then he just kind of like looks at the Bigfoot and is like, oh, and I'm leaving now.
Like awkwardly just turns around and like starts walking away, and like they're just like, oh.
He just leaves. He just walks away. That's it. That's
like
it.
He saw fucking Bigfoot just like juggling his fucking hairy balls.
That's it. That's the scene. That's our horror scene. Nothing. I was like, oh shit, is he gonna like walk in there and his cows are dead? Well, is he gonna get attacked? No. Nothing.
They just look at each other very awkwardly, and then the farmer just walks away.
The Bigfoot basically did the sup thing.
Well, I love also the other like exciting Bigfoot scene where the sheriff of the town is talking to the guy because they meet somewhere because the sheriff's like, I gotta tell you because no one else will believe me, and I don't want it to get out to someone that doesn't believe me. So they're talking, and he's like, well, I was like catching fish, and I came home, and I was gonna go prepare the fish, and then the baby Bigfoot like jumps on top of his back, and they like struggle a little bit.
He shakes it off, and then the baby Bigfoot steals the fish.
Well, I love it again because like fucking baby Bigfoot steals the fish, climbs onto the big Bigfoot, and they just fucking mad dog this guy while walking into the fucking woods. They just fucking, and all they're just these... like literally the look is like, what you gonna do about it, bitch? And
just... the funniest thing is almost every single one of these fucking scenes is in broad daylight because there's nothing more terrifying than broad fucking daylight.
What I love about this movie too is they make it a point to say in the narration that Bigfoot doesn't come out during the daytime a lot, and every single scene you see him come out, except for one, it's in broad fucking daylight.
Oh, but I did love the...
But he's a nocturnal creature, because he doesn't like to go where people are, even though literally
the whole movie.
The whole movie is him going where people are.
And I did love the riveting computer radar scenes.
Oh my god, they're so stupid. Like, if you want to see, like
I swear to God,
80s radar action with, like, the most boring radar screen you've ever seen in your entire life.
But there's so many, like... I feel like there's so many ways you could have done this.
There's so many ways they have done this in other movies that are better.
And it's like...
80s movies have done this better.
Like in Alien, they have the radar, the, like, portable radar.
Yeah.
There's that scene where he's climbing through the fucking mine shafts and shit, and it's, like... blinking because it's going closer, but that's like a million times better. And then you watch this, and it's just like this thing where he like pulls up his radar, right? He pulls it up, and then he types in like the weight. He's like, okay, Tanya is like 110 pounds, and then we get a 2-second shot of Tanya because
why not? And then Chris is this weight, and like
and then we get a 2-second shot of Chris.
It's like, yeah, no shit. Okay, we get who you're talking about. There's 4 characters in this fucking movie. I think we know who the fuck you're talking about.
We know who they are. And then he's like, okay, so we got them. We got them on there. And then I'm going to put the weight up to 400 pounds so that, like, nothing else comes in.
So what they're trying to establish is this radar will only pick up things on the screen that are 400 pounds and above, right? So, which is fucking hilarious because it doesn't, like... Their radar clearly doesn't work like that. It's just...
This makes no fucking sense, because the 2 of them are still on the radar, right?
So they're walking toward... So he tells them to walk towards the RV, right?
Yeah.
So they're walking towards the Jeep, and then you see another blip come on the thing.
And it's at 400 pounds.
He's like, oh no, okay. Let's type it in to... It might just be someone else. Let's type it into, like, 200, and it's like just shows the 2... And it's so confusing because it shows all 3 the entire time. Even when
it doesn't change.
Even when he types in 350, it still shows the 2 other the 2 counselor people coming towards the fucking RV and fucking Bigfoot. And then he types in 400, and it still shows 3 people on the fucking radar screen. And he's like, I knew it. I knew he had to be between 350 and 400 pounds. I'm like, how did you deduce that from that fucking radar screen? Like, It clearly picks up everything on there.
My other question, Will, is why the fuck does this matter?
It doesn't.
Because all that happens is he runs out into the woods and gets a glimpse of, like, something wiggling the bushes.
You know why it matters? Because we have that other scene with the radar screen where
it shows up at night?
Where it shows up at night and it's, like, around the campsite, and they run out of power, so the kid and the guy go out
and turn on the generator.
And they see Bigfoot, and he shoots him with a trank dart.
And Bigfoot just rips the trank dart out.
He rips the trank dart out and then just ruffles the fucking leaves and goes back into the woods.
I don't... How the fuck did I sit through this garbage?
Dude, that is all that happened. He literally he takes it out, and then he just fucking flaps his arms a bunch and goes back into the woods.
How the fuck do we sit through this shit?
Dude, it's so fucking...
God.
It's fucking cringy how stupid this movie is.
There.
Well, I love how they also show, like, they make it a point to show a close-up of Bigfoot, right?
Oh, Jesus.
But you can clearly... They didn't put any makeup around the actor's eyes.
So it's just, yeah.
So you can clearly see, like, you can see flesh tone in the fucking eye. Because they had to cut the eye holes bigger, obviously, so the actor could see.
I guess.
But they didn't paint around his fucking eyes to make it look like it's a full fucking, like, face.
Oh, you know what I loved? My favorite part of the movie.
Where they reused the close-up of the fucking Bigfoot?
I was getting to that, you fucker. I was getting to that, you fuckface. I was going to say my favorite part of the movie was when, for reasons that I did not remember because I just didn't care, the two women take the Jeep and they get stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
And then they argue and they get stuck in the mud some more. And this is a scene that goes on for like 15 minutes of just them arguing and arguing and arguing. And then Bigfoot shows up. And then they reuse the shot of Bigfoot in the bushes before it ruffles the fucking leaves.
I love it.
And then they run away. And then they get back to camp. And then... nothing.
Nothing happens. Zero
The guy
happens.
is just like, kind of like, okay.
Well, he's all like... He's like a pouty fucking teenager when
because
they show
took the
back
Jeep.
when they show back up because he's like, you took our only form of transportation. How dare you fucking take the Jeep? And what do you mean? And they're like getting on him for not believing that they saw Bigfoot, even though that's.
And he's like, no, I believe you. And then we get voiceover of him like, I just wanted to be sassy, and it's like,
yeah, he's like a sassy queen. He's like this fucking sassy McSasserton. And I love how he also, at the end of the movie, you meet this other guy who's been, like, living in the woods and trying to capture Bigfoot. And he always, our main character is not young at all.
No.
He has gray in his beard, and he's probably in his, like, mid-50s, just like the actor at the end. And he keeps calling this actor at the end old man for whatever reason.
He calls him old man, and the old man calls him cousin.
Well, which is hilarious because the old man does not even look that old. He actually kind of looks younger than
he has less gray in his hair
our lead character.
Than our lead. Okay.
Should we do the ending?
I guess.
I don't have anything else to say about this movie.
Oh, fuck no. We forgot the best part of the movie.
What? We've said a lot of things are the best part of this movie.
Actual best part. Not sarcasm. The watermelon.
Oh, okay.
There's a part where they are going to they are going to
the star of the show.
Local coffee shop, Will.
The Travel Lodge?
And it's a travel lodge. It's like the dining hall in the travel lodge for breakfast, as you do. And they go there, and they walk in, and the first thing you see is there's a fucking table, and there is a gigantic fucking watermelon.
It takes up, like, the whole fucking table.
And they just kind of walk away, and I'm like, wait a minute, I want to know more.
Yeah, I was more interested in the story behind that watermelon than I was the actual movie.
Now we can get to the fucking ending, because... Okay, the whole movie, they're talking about this guy named Crenshaw who apparently also saw the Bigfoot.
Crenshaw.
Okay, my favorite bit of voiceover.
Crenshaw.
Is, he's doing the nature documentary, right?
Crenshaw Pete.
And then we get fucking and his hot ass co-hangers. And then we get to the fucking and then the camera just shows like a boat and it has Crenshaw written on the side of it. And then they pull up And then our voiceover just goes, Crenshaw. And it's like...
Well, it wasn't even the voiceover. Remember, he literally stands up in the boat after we see the boat that says Crenshaw. He stands up in the boat, gestures towards the shore, and says, Crenshaw. Welcome.
No fucking shit.
Welcome to Crenshaw.
Welcome to Crenshaw. Enjoy your stay. And then they meet this fucking guy who wears like half a suspender.
Well, I think he's supposed to be like this creepy, like redneck guy, but he's not actually that creepy.
Well, the whole thing is like, our guy doesn't trust him because he has like a pile of like wood. And he thinks there's something weird
I don't really
going
understand the reasoning why he's so suspicious of this guy.
But at the end of the day, the guy shows him that he captured
the baby Bigfoot.
And then the guy's like, that's why they've been so mad. And I'm like, okay. All right, then. We're doing this now with 20 minutes until the movie's over?
Well, and he's like, well, I thought you were a doctor. You could patch him up. And
because it's like, dying.
I'm just like, what doctor would know how to fucking patch up a Bigfoot?
And then the guy's like, a lot. I gotta tend to my fires. And then he goes out and starts a big fucking bonfire.
Yeah, to see Bigfoot.
To lure Mom and Bigfoot. And then Mom and Bigfoot shows up. And the guy, our main character, just gives the baby back.
Yep.
And then they all live happily ever after.
And then the old man tries to come out and shoot Bigfoot, but like can't because the fucking main guy took his fucking shotgun shells. And that's... And then we get this whole fucking stupid, oh, well, you know what? I think it's better this way that we don't know much about them because...
we leave them alone.
Because they're part of nature, and nature is precious, and blah, 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 bullshit.
We gotta leave, and it's just the way it's gonna be. We gotta leave it alone. They all lived happily ever after, and that's the movie. I don't have anything to say. It's just boring. It's not even that it was like badly made, I guess. The acting wasn't great, and like the cinematography was kind of just meh. But like point and shoot.
And it wasn't like unbearable to like watch. It wasn't like ugly per se, but like it's just boring. Like just nothing happens. Like it's just like almost like a non-movie.
I hate this movie. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, I cannot believe I just wasted 92 minutes of my precious short time on this planet.
You're damn right, because it is a fucking waste of time.
Because holy Lord, like I was just like, please God, something happen. Something exciting, someone die, something
and I feel
happen.
I feel the same way. I just want to reiterate, the reason we hate this movie so much is because it's fucking boring. Nothing happens. Like, yes, it looks like a movie, but like it is not worth anyone's time.
No, because it's fucking nothing happens. Nothing. There's no character development. There's no scary scenes. Nothing.
Yeah, no one learns a lesson.
It's it's like someone's fucking rough draft.
Well, and even the lesson at the end is like not really a lesson at all. It's just like, oh, well, we should just leave it alone. It's like, okay, like what the fuck is the point of the whole movie then? Like, we did all this just so we could learn to leave it alone. Cool. So, what you're saying is we did all this to say that you shouldn't have watched this fucking movie.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The lesson at the end of the movie
The turnaround is don't watch this fucking movie.
The lesson at the end of the movie is you fucked up by watching this movie. You fucking idiot.
You done fucked up the fucking Pierce family or whatever.
Yes.
The Pierce I say Pierce family because there are so many fucking Pierces on the credits on this fucking movie.
Well, you see, Charles B. Pierce wrote, produced, directed, and starred in this fuckfest.
The lead star too, like not
it's
like
him,
not side character, nothing.
No, it's him.
Lead character.
It's him. It's our man who made the movie.
This was his baby, and Lord
one
help.
of the college students is played by his son.
one of the grips was like his other, like someone else in the Pierce family.
There's Amy Pierce in the movie, which is like one of the women at like this like
At the beach,
river beach,
at
and
the
it's like
at the river beach, and she also did the makeup for the movie, which she should be fired right away because she didn't even fucking put the makeup on the guy that.
what makeup?
What I'm telling you
the
is
Bigfoot suit.
this is where they fucked up because like they shouldn't. She should be fired immediately because she didn't do any makeup. That's what I'm saying. Like the one fucking job she had was put black eyeliner around the fucking guy wearing the goddamn mask, and she couldn't even fucking do that right.
I don't think they even thought about that. Well,
Why wouldn't you think about that? It's a
Did you
fucking
watch
monster
this?
movie. Yes, I know.
How little is your will to live after watching this shit?
It's extremely low. It's going into the negatives at the moment.
You paid money for this.
Yeah, I know. I rented this fucking movie.
The one thing you can say though is that now you will never ever have to watch this again.
Thank fucking Lord I don't have to fucking watch anything like this. I don't even want to go back and watch the fucking first one. I don't care.
Oh, dude, no, don't.
Do you think this has anything to fucking do with the first one? I doubt it, but I don't even want to go see the first one. Fuck Boggy Creek. Just straight up.
Motherfucker Sasquatch.
Fuck Boggy Creek. Fucking, like, I don't know if there's been a good Bigfoot movie.
Maybe one day we'll get around to one, but
I don't know. If there is one, shout out, but like, I haven't seen one yet.
I don't even care. I just wanted some carnage. I wanted some fucking shenanigans, and you can't even get that with this bullshit.
You're dealing with this hulking, fucking, huge, larger-than-life creature, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's supposed to be stronger than a fucking bear, like, can move super fast through the woods. He could probably fucking, like, pick someone up, and I know I always say this in these movies. I just want to see it one day. Just some guy get ripped in half. I just want to see... I know. I always say that. I always want it. It never happens.
I don't know what to tell you.
I just want to see someone like, and Bigfoot could.
He
just
could
pick him up and just fucking rip him in half.
I know there's been movies where that's happened. I just cannot fucking think of it.
There is. I don't think there's been one on the podcast. It's my ever-long...
No. I know there's been movies where that's fucking happened. I just cannot, for the life of me, fucking think of them because all I can think about is
like
the fact
on
that...
the podcast or no?
Not on the podcast.
No, because I've wanted it to happen on the podcast, but it never has.
I'm sure there's movies that's happened in that will be on the podcast.
I hope,
but
because I'm waiting to see it.
You'll get your wish.
Because remember in the 70s we always had this stupid fucking thing where it was like a cock tease. They'd pick them up and then like they just like crush their bones above them or something like that and then throw them down, right? And I was like, come on, just tear them in half. It's always a fucking tease. They always pick them up and then like just break their back or something. Or they'll tear off their head. It's like, ooh, cool.
If that.
Yeah.
If they even tear off their head.
I think we've had one where they tear off their head, but I mean, whenever someone gets picked up on the head, it's always cracking their...
It wasn't... They didn't get picked up, but in that movie, The Beast Within, there was a pretty fucking lit head ripoff.
Yes.
It was when the guy was standing up against the fucking wall and the thing busted through a fucking concrete wall and rips his head off in like one take. But
that was really fucking cool.
That's an actual movie.
Okay, we're getting way off subject from fucking Boggy Creek. Let's just do Shitty to Pretty and get this over with.
I am so tempted. I am so tempted to fucking just wipe my ball sack on this. But I guess I have to be realistic. I'll give it a 2. But I am so tempted to just wipe my fucking sweaty balls all over the face of this movie and give it a 1. But because, as you said... It's not the worst filmed thing I've ever seen. It's not the worst made. I can't. So I'll give it a 2. But that's it.
I hate that we never have a disagreement over the Shitty to Pretties, really.
No.
I don't think in the history of this podcast there's ever been an upset. So, like, it's a 2 for me, too, because, like, it's not like... You know, like, you look at movies like, Savage Water... Where it's like...
Yeah?
Where it's like, not only is it a shit fucking movie, right? Like, nothing fucking works in that movie. It is atrocious to look at. Like
or like
it is like looking at fucking human sewage.
Or like, even like Uwe Boll films.
Yeah. There's just something about it where it's just not even like worth viewing with your eyes. Like if you plugged your ears and watched this movie, at least you'd see some pretty shots of like.
At least it looks like a movie.
Yeah. But, like, those movies, like, if you fucking plugged your ears and looked at it, you just see human sewage.
Yeah, it's just garbage.
You just fucking just trash all over.
You're just like, oh, this isn't any better.
And yes, I will say that, like, the creature looks like shit. It looks like complete shit. Like,
it is shit.
It's fucking awful.
And they don't bother. They don't even bother, like, trying to film it, like, horrifically.
No, this whole movie is fucking just garbage.
Just vanilla shit, yeah.
But there are some shots that make it look like a movie.
No, it does look like a movie, unfortunately. So it does, unfortunately.
Get a 1. A 2.
Get a 2.
Sorry, not a 1. A 2. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Fuck this movie. Fuck Boggy Creek.
No, this is shit. I'm in awe.
It's just such a fucking waste of a movie. Like, there's no substance.
There's nothing. I don't even get deaths. Well,
you don't get anything with Boggy Creek 2.
This man, William here, referenced Lake Placid at one point during this, and I was like, oh right, an actual movie, an actual like fucking B movie with like humor and gore.
I was drawing a comparison because I was saying like, you know, how they ended
the sympathetic
the sympathetic to nature,
sympathetic to the monster.
Yeah, I was saying that'd be like if everyone in Lake Placid, every character in Lake Placid was like Betty White's character.
Yeah, where she's like feeding the alligator.
She's sympathetic to the alligator.
Yeah, but yeah, and I was like, oh right, Lake Placid, that's a movie. That's an actual movie where it's like funny and well written. And
see, that's how to do camp right though. Like it's
got gore.
Like I don't even think Boggy Creek was going for campy, and it didn't even achieve that. Even if it was trying to go for campy, it didn't achieve anything.
No, it is joyless.
It
is a joyless fucking experience.
It's just it is a waste of fucking time.
It is like, it's just so fucking base level. It's like a fucking essay that like someone's fucking forced to write at gunpoint. And it's just like no passion.
There's nothing. No.
You're just like, okay, well, I guess you had to write 5 pages, so you wrote 5 pages.
All right.
Is it good? Nope. Am I convinced of what you're telling me? Nope.
But you did it, so...
I guess you did it.
Yeah, this is like a essay written like 1 hour before class where you're like...
A class that you have no fucks about.
You're like in like super crunch time.
Yeah.
Just need to turn it in for a grade.
You just make up some shit. Okay, whatever. 5 pages of
you
garbage.
Get like a fucking C on it, but you don't fucking care at all. Hell, you'll even take a D at this point.
That's this movie. It's a D.
Just so long as you don't fucking F it.
This movie's a D.
It is.
It's not quite an F, but my God, I am so...
I'm done.
Wasted.
Fuck Boggy Creek.
Fuck it.
Fuck this boring ass fucking waste of a movie.
Please, on to better things.
Yeah, and we are on to better things. Hiatuses, as far as we know, are done.
We're
back. We are back.
I mean, if we have a surprise like week that we don't do it, then whatever. But otherwise, yeah.
We had that like the previous week. So, but we are back to regular schedule. It might just be once a week now going forward. So we're probably not going to do bi-weekly anymore. So just look out for once a week on Sundays. Just kind of back to our like really like our when we first started out schedule. So but yeah, we look forward to better movies ahead.
We do have better movies ahead, thankfully.
We really appreciate anyone who listens to us. And again, please subscribe if you haven't already. Mm-hmm. We have tons of content you can listen to. So
and more coming.
Yeah, so thanks for listening to us rant and lose our fucking minds over Boggy Creek 2. For They Mostly Come Out at Night. This has been Will.
This has been Alex.
And we will talk to you all later.
Oh, God. Lord.
Jesus
Bye.
Christ.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Just some fucking eye makeup. Come on.
No.
Jesus.
No effort.
Come on, Amy Pierce. Fucking get it together.
No effort.